Oh. Hello, welcome to Social Work Sunday Tea. I am Shakia Houston. It's a great day to be alive and well. It is July 10th. Yeah, July 10th, 2022. Listen, I want everybody to like, share, subscribe, all the above. Make sure that you're commenting. If you have any questions, make sure you leave a comment so we can be able to address it and, talk about it and things like that. Today we have a special guest. I would love for you to introduce yourself, Miss Robin, and so everybody would know you and all that good stuff.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Robin Graham. I hail from Brooklyn, New York,
Yeah,
Brooklyn in the house. I
yeah.
am the founder and publisher of Spotlight on Recovery magazine. It's a publication that provides a platform for individuals to share their stories on trauma, mental health, abuse, and their invisible scars.
Okay, cool. So, what made you get into the magazine? And look, we met each other, as far as like when I went came to Brooklyn. That's how we connected, and it's been magic ever since. And Miss Robin has been a joy. We spoke before this podcast, and I mean, we was like, yes, and going back and forth and conversing with each other and it's all about the human connection. So I'm
Yes,
grateful for you to be on my platform on Social Work Sunday Tea. I'm honored, and I love. I want people to know about you and your magazine and all the good stuff that you're doing. Like is like everybody is dope. Like dope. What she's doing, for as far as our incarcerated people, our incarcerated community. So, what made you get into this, Miss Robin?
okay. Thank you, Shakia, for that great introduction.
Yes.
Spotlight on Recovery started as a newsletter. I was working in a drug treatment program in Brooklyn. I was the secretary, and I know that the clients, we called them, would have groups. It was a outpatient program for, well, not an outpatient, in-house program for men and women who chose treatment instead of prison. So
Mm.
every now and again, they would get together and have a group and just talk about their trauma and how they became addicted to drugs, alcohol, and other vices. And as I was sitting there listening to them, I'm like, wow, some of their trauma mirrors my own trauma.
Mm.
And I just thought, this is a group where on, it's unfortunate that they're mandated to have this talk, but this is a group I've been looking for since I was in my 20s.
Mm.
Somebody that will just, you're willing to say what you're feeling and have people listen to you, and they wait their turn to tell you what their struggle is.
Yeah.
And you can't get that at home. You can't get that with your partner sometimes.
Yeah.
You can't get that at work, and you can't get it in school.
Yeah.
So I've been looking for that type of support group. So after hearing their stories, I said, let me start a newsletter. I love to write. And I said, maybe they'll be interested in sharing that in writing, not necessarily their stories, but poetry, artwork, funny comic strips, whatever.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I remember the boss saying, you think they want to do that? You really think they're going to write for you? I said, listen, I don't know. I
Mm.
said, let's just let them know it's here if they
Yeah.
want to.
Absolutely.
And when I did it, I was surprised how many people wanted to. And
Yeah.
when it was complete, The boss never said to me again any negative, you know, comments about it.
Yeah.
He even liked it.
Okay.
So after I left that position, I said, well, I want to keep this going because we had a good dialogue going here. People were sharing things they probably never shared with anybody, and it
Mm,
stayed in house. So I want to do something for the community that they can share and to be out in the world.
mm.
So Spotlight on Recovery was born October 2001, a month after 9/11,
Wow. Wow.
when we really needed to be able to deal with our trauma and the mental anguish that we felt.
Wow. That's awesome. That's awesome. So how did you so you've been in existence since 2001.
Right.
And so what are like what has transpired from 2001 to now? Your mindset then and your mindset now. Um regarding the magazine and interacting with your as far as with your writers.
Okay, back then I had a mixture of writers who were basically freelance writers that you could find on LinkedIn.
Mm,
And then I had a couple from prison because I put an ad in the Writers Digest,
mm,
where it's a publishing catalog, and you can put your company and what material you're looking for. So when I put mental health, drug addiction, alcoholism, some people who were incarcerated were writing into me.
mm,
So as well as people in the free world were writing in. So it was a small group of people. Started out small. I was still learning. Publishing was not my first career choice. I was a trained musician.
mm.
That was my college career. I
Okay.
was going to do music performance. I'm a flute player,
Okay.
and I didn't go that route. And I always loved to write, so it just kind of came back to me. It's something that's always been with me,
Mm,
and you never think that you're going to make a career out of it,
yeah.
but it came back to me. So today I have over 125 writers. Half
Wow.
of them are incarcerated because they still go to the Writer's Digest, but then it's word of mouth.
Mm,
Someone shows them the magazine at the facility. That person writes me and then says, well, I got a brother in Philadelphia. Can he write for you? Or
wow.
can she write for you? And it just took off.
Wow.
So
That's awesome.
yeah. So I work with a lot of incarcerated individuals who been through a lot of trauma.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what are some of the stories that they write regarding, as far as in your magazine? Do they tell their story, right? They're
Yes.
telling the narrative of, what transpired for them to get to where they are now.
Well, they telling that based on a topic. I do a topics list
Okay.
every year. So
Okay.
my latest issue is called Lies I've Been Taught.
Okay. Ooh,
So that opens you up to so many
yeah.
scenarios. So
Hmm.
one of the writers talked about my mom always told me to have your friends back. And he says, I wish you only taught me how to pick my friends because
Mm,
his sticking up for his friends would land him in jail.
mm,
And
right.
his friends didn't go to jail, but he did.
Hmm.
They were
Yeah.
nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
So there's a lesson in that how to pick your friends as opposed to always stick up for your friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there's the lie about men are not supposed to cry.
Yeah.
And then there's the trauma of a child not being wanted by either parent.
Mm,
And
wow.
all and so you think you're unlovable
Mm,
because mommy didn't want me and daddy didn't want me. I was 5 years old when they said so.
mm, wow.
So that kind of trauma and those lies believing that you're not lovable. So
Mm,
you sabotage your own relationships because you think back to that child. Well, how could they possibly love me when my parents didn't love me?
yeah. Yeah. And
So
that goes into adverse childhood experiences because of the trauma, because of what's going on. Childhood it makes and breaks and it pretty much trail you all into adulthood. and people
Yes.
don't really understand that, and it's a reality in that. And when we were talking before, you so you give topics, and
Yes.
they just write. And some I can imagine, and I read some of your articles that you sent me, and they were amazing. And I really really love the fact that they can be able to, as far as like incline and tell and share their story, because it's not all bad. After, okay, I'm incarcerated, but it's not all bad. It's always recovery, when
Right.
it comes down to, okay, yes, I'm incarcerated, but that's not the end. And you definitely give that beacon of light, to people that are incarcerated. So what does that, as far as the incarcerated population, that are writers, um what do they say to you, after they present their writings to you, um as far as like the communication goes? How does that work out?
Well, some of them, it's a variation of different feedback I get. One person said that, you saved my life.
Mm,
He said, when I write, I'm releasing all the pain and anger that I have. I'm putting it in a positive place,
mm,
whereas I'm not exerting it to other people around me
yeah,
because now it's been released. The anger, I just put it on paper now.
yeah,
Another person has said that, you helped me find myself.
yeah,
And in me writing about my trauma and helping others, I'm helping myself because now I'm seeing things that I didn't even know were still in me, that were still bothering me. Because
yeah,
I don't point blanks put a topic. It's topics that's around about, like lies I've been taught. That's open to anything.
yeah, yeah,
Topics like the day I grew up. That's
mm,
open to anything
yeah, yeah,
because they finding out when they grew up and they had to sit and think about that. Wow, when did I grow up? When I came to jail? When I realized that I had to take responsibility for my actions?
yeah.
You don't get that question asked to you in your home.
Mm-mm. Nope.
You don't get that type of conversation. So I've had them tell me that how they were able to have their family have pizza night on a little bit that I pay them. I
Mm,
only pay them 5 cents a word, but
wow.
it adds up.
It does.
It could be anywhere from $35 for your article up to $75 for your article.
Wow.
And I pay them because I can't imagine trying to write in that environment,
Yeah,
trying to get your thoughts down, opening up old wounds and
yeah.
not compensate them for their time and their
Mhm.
efforts.
Wow. That's awesome.
So, yeah,
Wow. And it's 5 cent a word.
right, right.
Wow. Okay. That's awesome. I mean, it's putting money in their pocket to be able to, get the things that they need, while they're, incarcerated. And I like the terminology, as far as like being incarcerated, they get depressed, they get anxiety, they feel, and it's a form of PTSD. It is traumatic, being locked up, and you have rage, and things may occur, but I think that it's a syndrome, post-traumatic syndrome, as far as being incarcerated, things like that. But it's definitely, no, post incarceration, incarceration
Right.
syndrome. Yes, the syndrome of symptoms that are present in current incarcerated or recently released prisoners that was caused by. So you have these two things. But I like the recovery side. I like how they said that you saved their life, and that's what it's all about. And that's all about with recovery. And when you have people that are no longer incarcerated, do they still write? Um,
They still write. They still call me, and I'm like, "You
wow.
calling me?" I'm like, "You have your life now," and I'm like, "You're thinking about calling me to say, hey, I still want to be a part." I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm so flattered by that. I'm like, I thought you'd be going on with your life. You're free. You got things you got to do, take care. But they're coming back and say, no. I still want to write for Spotlight on Recovery.
Wow.
You are the reason I'm inspired, and they in turn inspire me.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
They absolutely inspire me when I get a call like that, and they say, I want to write for you. Yes, I'm out, but I want to write for you."
Wow. That's what's up. I like that. I like that. So, do some of the people that write for you, are they, are you, so you're always connected with them because they want to write and want to write? Do they connect with
Right.
other writers um afterward? Well, and while they're writing?
Well, none of them had told me that fellow writers have written them,
Mm,
the people that they see in the magazine. But
okay.
I do have a writer who said he's planning on reaching out to them. I
Mm,
don't know whether it's because they can't be in contact with other incarcerated, if it's a part of um, that policy that you can't have conversations with other prisoners
mm,
outside of your facility. I
okay.
don't know if that might hinder some things,
Okay.
but I have one of my writers who's in the free world, and he said he was impressed by the writers and he wants to reach out to them.
Mm,
So, but I do encourage all my readers who have subscriptions to, if they want to, write to them. But then again, you have to give your address and all that.
right.
So some people are like,
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to go that route. So they have my number. They can call me. I've had that same number for the 20 years. So, well, actually 18, maybe 17 years. But they do call me,
Yeah.
they get a free call and they'll call me
Mm,
and ask me topics. Did you get my letter? When's the next issue coming out? Or they'll write me and I answer every single letter I get personally.
wow. That's awesome. That's awesome, Ms. Robin. So what are the mindsets of people that are no longer incarcerated that have been connected with you? What are their mindset now? Because I know
Well,
some people are, like as far as their mentality it has changed. Some might isolate, um, um, some might like, oh, I don't want to be around people. I want to get to myself. What are some of the things that you encountered?
one of them is a successful author,
Okay.
and he's doing speaking tours about his life and what he's been through. You can look
Okay.
him up. His name is Ian Manuel,
Oh wow.
and the
Okay.
name of his book is My Time Will Come.
Mm,
And
wow.
he was a young man that was incarcerated at the age of 15. He was
Wow.
given a life sentence, and he was able to be free. And one of the people that helped him was the person that was his victim.
Mm,
I guess when she heard his story of what he was dealing with, and this was the way he had to live because he
mm,
had no family that was supporting him. I think she understood that he was just trying to survive, and
yeah.
he didn't do the right thing, but she got it, and so that was a very compelling story. So he's doing fine. Another writer named Excellus Highland, he's in Miami. He wrote a book about a strong woman in the business world
Okay.
called The Badass Witch.
Okay.
So you
Okay.
can look him up too.
Okay.
And another writer who's a very good writer. Have to give him the new topic list, but he's out, and he called me and told me he's found love again, and I'm like, okay, I'm glad and you're calling me. Yeah, I
Right.
want to, I want to continue to write for you. I said, okay.
Wow.
And today I had a call from a
Okay.
writer who was in an unfortunate accident,
Mm.
and and so he just wanted to know when the next topic's out, and that he does want to write. When he gets out the hospital, he'll let me know.
Oh wow.
So
How does
that
that make you feel?
that inspires me to continue the work. It has been a struggle for me as well.
Yeah.
Um, I suffered through depression myself. I
Okay.
have, had to raise my children by myself. Single parenting is a very difficult job,
Yeah.
you know. I
Yeah.
had to work two jobs at one point, several times, to
Yeah.
keep food on the table and roof over my head.
Yeah.
So it's a very difficult situation to be in. Running a magazine by myself, where I do everything except the graphic arts, but I do the answering of the mail, I type up the articles, I answer the emails, I do the marketing, I do the
Yeah.
distribution, you
Yeah.
know.
All of that. I
Yeah.
get it. Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, I just can imagine when I do social work Sunday T, it's like, oof, phew, all right, what else I gotta do? Just the ability to keep moving, keep the engine running, because people, they depend on, people that help, like they depend on us. So we have to keep going. What are some of the things um through your experience, what are some of the things that you learned, interacting as far as with the population, just interacting with writers and people? What was your what are some of the things that you learned throughout those years of with the magazine?
Some of the things I've learned is that there's a lot of pain in the world,
Yeah.
and we're in trouble right now.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
we're in serious trouble, and um, we're doing a lot of things right, but there's a lot, so much more that needs to be done.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not just the incarcerated community that's in trouble; it's all of us
Yes.
on this planet.
Yep.
In
It is.
so many different directions, things are hitting us, and there's so many people being silent. I've learned how many people are silent
Yeah.
over the years. You have no idea what people are holding on to,
Yeah.
and you have no idea when their last straw is going to hit them and they're going to go off.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I call it the unchecked trauma. We have a lot of unchecked trauma, is what
Yeah.
I've learned over the years.
Okay.
And so every news item I see, every uh, breakup that's in the news, I try to go to the back door and say, wow, what could have happened here that had this effect on
Yeah.
this person?
Yeah.
Because once you're arrested, tried and convicted, they don't want to hear the backstory.
Mm-mm.
They don't want to hear that you were raped when you were 8 years old. They don't want to hear that you were a crackhead at 9 because your parents were drug addicts.
Yeah.
It's too late by then, and
Yeah.
you're like, you know, this. It's hard to say it, but this government, this country has failed a lot of people,
Yeah. Yeah.
and we're talking about going back decades.
Yeah.
It can be corrected, but you got to really want to correct it.
Yeah.
It's not something you could have step on.
Yeah.
This is an emergency crisis. If you really want to help and change the tide of what's happening here in our streets, in our communities, you have to start checking those traumas. You have to knock on every door.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You have to
Absolutely.
let everybody tell you, and then you got to help them with everything that they're juggling. You can't say, okay, we understand you're depressed. Let's get you a psychiatrist. Let's
Yeah.
get you some medication.
Yeah.
No. So
Yeah.
what you're gonna do about her having an income? What are you gonna do about the back rent? What are you gonna do about the student loan that she's been trying to pay?
Yep.
What are you gonna do about her worrying about her mother who lives in another state? What are you gonna do about her brother that's in jail?
Yep.
There's so much
Yeah.
trauma
Yeah.
that's involved. There's not just one thing that you're going to be dealing with, and you have to, if you're going to take it on, you have to be willing to deal with all of it, and and it may take some time, but you have to be willing to deal with all of it because we're
Yeah.
in trouble right now.
Yeah. Absolutely. Someone said, keeping secrets causes mental breakdowns. That's why some keep silent.
Yeah, the other reason they keep silent is because they're afraid of being judged.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're afraid of the stigma. They're afraid of being found out. That they're afraid that somebody won't love them anymore if they told what they're really like or
Yeah.
what they're really going through. So
Yeah.
they keep it a secret.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
until it's so much pain they can't stand again anymore.
Yep.
I
Then when
had a
you
writer I had a writer turn himself in,
mm,
and when he told me, well, he wrote about it, and he said he never shared it with anybody until he decided to turn himself in. He lost everything. He was a pillar in the community,
mm,
um, but he became a predator
mm,
because he was sexually abused.
yeah.
And he said at the end of that, his article, he said, "I'm doing 162 years,
Mm,
but I could finally heal that little 12-year-old boy who
mm,
couldn't tell."
yeah.
So he had to first free himself from being the monster he became, so that the little boy from those years ago could heal.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's not concerned that he's not getting out. He's concerned that that little boy that
Yeah.
suffered all those years ago has a place where he can talk about it now.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's prison, but
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah. It's definitely an outlet. Like a lot of people, they don't tell their story because of, and I always say that because they want to protect the image of people, other people that's connected to them.
right,
I always say it all the time. I work with the psychiatric population and they geriatric, they're older people. And I always talk about the story about this lady. She was like 80 something, one of my clients, and she was raped by her uncle, and her mother told her to be quiet. I always tell the story.
hmm,
And even in her 80s, she talked about that. And she can imagine herself being that little girl again. A lot of people are walking around still in childhood mentality, the
yes,
mindset, and because they're not healing from those wounds, those unspoken hurts, that people don't want to talk about because they're trying to protect the other person. And so her mother told her not to say anything, don't say nothing,
yeah,
and it was her brother, the mother's brother. And
hmm,
so I'm talking to this 80-year-old, but yet and still I'm talking to this how old, however
yeah,
old she was, this little girl.
right,
And, like I said before, it's a lot of people walking around with the unspoken hurt and always want to defend, like, oh, no, it never happened. That's why we have drug addictions. That's why
right.
we have, other,
Alcoholism,
yes, absolutely. And, everything, like I said, stems from childhood because of the environment that, that people are in. Nobody wants to be in prison. Nobody wants to be on drugs. Like, oh, I want to be on drugs. Nobody does that.
right,
Something happened for that to occur, for those type of behaviors to be displayed regarding, being dealing with substance abuse issues, being promiscuous. You got so many different factors that play into what has transpired, what happened,
yes,
and so I would say it's always a ram in the bush, but you have to admit, like, hey, this is what I need. I need to be able to heal from the inside out and also recover. How can we help everybody, as far as with healing, of course, with therapy services, um,
right,
with therapy services, if you have spirituality, those are the things, but you have to work at it. It's a process because there's some stuff, like I always say, it's some stuff that I don't like about myself, but I have to keep working on it so I can change that narrative, change my mindset, and
hmm,
change everything else around me. Um, yeah, and I think the recovery is hard, but it get easier as time goes by, especially when you tell the story. It kind of sets you free, you
right,
know. So when you tell your truth, you tell your story, it sets you free. And then a lot of stuff that bother you because of your past, it doesn't bother you anymore because you're free. And that's
right.
the beauty of it.
And if you're afraid to come forward, that's where Spotlight on Recovery comes in.
Yes.
It's the support group in the magazine, because
Yes.
you, I guarantee, you will read an article that's going to resonate with you or
Yeah.
somebody you know.
Yeah.
You're going
Absolutely.
to know that story, and it may not, be you right now. It may be somebody you know, or it could be you. Come to
Yeah.
think of it, It
Yep.
could be you, and you say, "Wow, I thought I was the only one who went through this." And that's the importance of, okay, you don't want to talk about it right now, but read the magazine, see how these people dealt with their invisible scars, their
Yeah.
trauma.
Yeah.
See if anything resonates with you, and maybe it'll open you up a little bit to let it out, because you have to let it out. That's the only way you can heal.
Yep.
You got to release that negativity, that pain, and that struggle. Put it to paper. Keep journal. Do a journal. Do a voice journal. You don't, if you don't like to write, take out your phone and do a video
Yep.
or a verbal,
Yep.
but get it out.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You
So
know.
yeah, definitely. But you have helped, a lot of people as far as, being incarcerated with being a writer, having them write their stories and, find recovery and purpose. And
Yes.
it's clear and it's evident, and you can see the results, how you name the people that they have their own book. They're doing things that are productive, coming back into, the free world as we say. Um, but
And telling a story or making a new story. I
yeah,
have another
yeah,
writer I'm working with on his book. He's doing like it's like a Harry Potter type book.
okay.
We just finished editing it today. Thank God. That's a long journey, but
Yeah,
he's such a brilliant writer, and it seems to flow so easily for him. And that's another thing. I'm grateful he picked me. He could have picked anybody else to publish or to work on his book. He
yeah,
picked me, and I'm like, what, me?
yeah.
And
Yes,
when I'm
you.
reading him, I'm like, he picked me for this. And when I'm reading this book, I'm like, this has the ability to go everywhere.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
is this is movie, video game stuff, and
yeah.
TV show and all that. And he picked me. So
Yes, you, Miss
yeah,
Robin. Yes, absolutely.
you know,
Absolutely. The work that you're doing, you're healing people. And that's the beauty of it. That's the main goal, and helping people find their purpose even after incarceration. Because people think that's it. Oh, I don't know what to do. And you have your struggles, and people that have been incarcerated trying to find themselves all over again, because it's like you're a new person when you come from being incarcerated. Like some of the population that I dealt with, yeah, they're new and they have mental illnesses. They've been
yeah.
incarcerated. They have mental illnesses. And a lot of times they incarcerated because of the mental illness because it wasn't treated. And that's a big thing as well. And we're not really, you're not really tried, because sometimes when you have a mental illness, especially like schizophrenia or bipolar, sometimes you have out of body experience, so you really don't know what you're doing until you like, oh, when they refocus and be back on your baseline, then they come to reality, man, I didn't mean to do that. I didn't know. Or people that are on drugs, they were high and they committed a crime, or things like that. They was like, I didn't know. And there's a lot of people that are serving time now, due to not being able to be treated, as far as with their substance abuse and with their mental illnesses. But you definitely, Miss Robin, you have really really been, shedding a light and also giving purpose to people. And like I said, that's what it's all about at the end of the day, and you're being used as a vessel to be able to allow these people to write, right. And how can people find you? How can
Okay.
people find you and subscribe?
Okay. They could go to my website, but please, when you go to the website, it's my old one. I'm working on my new one.
Right.
So don't be taken aback when you see the old magazine from 2018. I have more magazines from that point on. So the website is spotlightonrecovery.com.
Okay.
If you click the support button, you'll see where you can subscribe. It's $25 for a 1 year subscription. It's a bi monthly magazine, so you get 6 to 7 issues, and 2 years is $40.
Okay. Okay.
I have lots of room for advertising. So to advertise, please email me at rgraham,
Mhm.
graham
Mhm.
underscore 100 at msn.com.
Okay. All right.
And if you want to write, potential writers can also email me, and I will send you my topic list for 2023.
Okay. All righty. All right. Thank you so much, Ms. Robin. Do you have any last words for the viewers? It yeah, for our viewers.
Yes, I have a gift.
Okay.
If you have a loved one that's incarcerated, I could give them a 3-month subscription on me
Okay.
and send you a digital copy of the subscription of the issue they will receive. All you have to do is email me, send me their name, their DOC number, and their the name of the prison and the address
Okay.
with your email and your name. So they will get 3 copies on me. And if you decide you want to subscribe for them, then you can contact me and order subscription.
Okay. All righty
So
then.
that's my gift.
Yes, thank you, Miss Robin. We really appreciate that. That's awesome. And I'm gonna put my little my I need to start writing too.
Absolutely.
Yes,
I'll,
yes, yes.
I'll add you to my topic list.
Yeah, come
Yeah.
on. I got you. I be writing. You should see my journal, but but yeah, no, I'm really, really honored to connect with you and to converse with you. And, you know, that's what it's all about, connecting and, getting the resources out there that can help somebody, that help somebody and help somebody else. But
That's
no, I'm
right.
really, really honored. Yes, yes, yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Shakia.
We would definitely be we family now. So when I come to Brooklyn, I'm be like, Miss Robin, I'm here.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And we'll
Yes,
hang out a little bit. Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. Thank you
Okay.
so much. And everybody, you tune in. Thank you for viewing. Make sure you like, subscribe. Make sure that you follow. Make sure you share. Good information. Y'all make sure y'all hit up Miss Robin. Greatly, greatly appreciate it. And until next time, I love you guys and I'll see you guys on next week. Bye.
Bye.